I want to welcome all of you. I'm glad you came out. Glad that you came out. We appreciate your interest in what goes on here in the city and the future of Coppell. So thank you very much. And thanks to our candidates, Marcia and Karen. Thank you very much for your service in the past, not only as a part of the administration or a part of the governance of the city, but also for all the other things that you ladies have been involved in over the last number of years here in Coppell. We truly appreciate that. We also appreciate the fact that you're willing to move forward and even devote more of your time to our efforts, so thanks a lot for that commitment as well. We really appreciate it. At this time I'll introduce Tony Moline, who is the president of our chamber. Tony, it's all yours. Take it away.
Thank you very much. Let me go through the rules real quick. Each candidate is given 2 minutes to introduce themselves. Afterwards, I will ask questions, and each candidate is given 90 seconds to respond. Our timer is in the back. If you can, timer, please wave the card so that they know where you are. She will be able to help you with that, and we're going to go in alphabetical order, and we will start with Ms. Hunt. But first, you'll be able to make your 2-minute introduction. So, Ms. Hunt.
Well, first, thank you for the chamber, or to the chamber, for allowing us this time to come together and talk a little bit about ourselves, and then thank you to each one of you for being here and being interested. It has been an interesting journey. My name is Karen Hunt, and I am a 15-year resident of Coppell. I've been married to Larry for 29 years. We have 2 boys. Kyle is 22. I keep saying he's 23, and he keeps correcting me. He is at Arkansas, and he's gone through the Coppell School District. And then I have a son who's a sophomore, Bryce, and he is a sophomore at the high school. I am the market president for Frost Bank here in town, so I get to live, work, and play here, and really do enjoy that. I've been a 30-year banker. And I started here in the North Texas area after I graduated from SMU, and have, as you can imagine, in banking, have worked for a couple of different institutions. Some of them are no longer in existence, but it really has given me a great financial background, and I understand ratios, I understand how things work when you're talking about budgets, although I have to admit government accounting is different. I also have a lot of broad-based leadership. I've been involved all these years in various civic organizations and served on boards and president of several boards as well, and really enjoy being involved in the community, both in the civic as well as it's my time to stop. But my name is Karen Hunt, and I'm running for mayor. Thank you.
Ms. Tennell.
I may read. I'm Marcia Tennell, and I'm running for mayor, but you probably have figured that out by now. Why am I running? Because I love Coppell and I love service. I want to tell you a little bit about my background so you understand who I am and what Coppell means to me and what has happened in my service. My husband Bob and I moved here 32 years ago when Coppell had 3,000 people, and the day we moved in, someone rode a horse down our street, and inside joke, it was not Sam Houston. We raised 3 beautiful caring daughters, Katie, Madeline, and Shannon. That's out of order. Katie, Shannon, and Madeline. They too attended Coppell schools, and they've all decided to go into related education fields as a bilingual teacher, as a speech pathologist, and as an elementary school teacher. They are our greatest accomplishment. So back to the public service. 27 of the 32 years that I've lived in Coppell, I've been involved with the city in some capacity. I've served on council. I've chosen to serve on council, or chosen to serve for 27 years. 17 of those years, the citizens chose me, and I've been on council since 1995. I am currently Mayor Pro Tem and have served in that position 3 other years. Before that, I was on Planning and Zoning for 9 years. I served 2 years as chair, and before that, I was on the Home Rule Charter Commission. I was my oldest daughter's age when I got involved. A lot of things have changed since then. Visionaries, and I include myself on that list, have created a wonderful place to live, work, and play. We all moved to Coppell for a lot of different reasons, and I played an active role in creating the Coppell that you love today. I ask that you allow me to continue to serve this great little city as mayor.
Okay. The first question will go to you, Ms. Hunt. The city of Coppell continues to develop. Our slogan is a family community for a lifetime. What does that mean to you?
In my view, the citizens of this community deserve a well-rounded community. One that we always talk about live, work, and play. So there needs to be places to live. We need great neighborhoods, and we need to protect the integrity of those neighborhoods. We need places where people can work. We need great businesses. We need to be able to help people bring their businesses to town when it's a positive, beneficial addition to our community. And then we also need to provide the places that our community can do the recreation and the family gathering places and those types of things, so that it is a well-rounded community.
Ms. Stenell? A family community for a lifetime. I feel like I've been on that journey since I've been here since I got married and I've raised my family. I think what we all want is we need to address the needs of our citizens no matter where they are in their stage of life, whether it's parents with young kids, whether it's sports or teens looking for something to do that's good for them and not bad for them, for the empty nesters and for the seniors. And I think we've created places for that. And to me, that's what it is. I mean, this is a family. This is a family community. Coppell is a family. And I think that we've tried to create that, and our wonderful citizens have certainly helped us do that.
Very good. Ms. Stenell, this next question you'll be able to start. What do you see as the role of mayor in leading our community?
For one thing, as our current mayor will say, the mayor doesn't vote, and that was a hard thing for me to think about giving up on being on council, as I'm not going to be able to raise my hand. But the mayor plays a different role in that we are conducting meetings and we are the face. Although I would like for all of council to be out there. I know that the mayor is the one that people call when they want something, when they need something, when they're upset about something. So you are kind of the front face, the public face for the city. So it's to be the head cheerleader. It's to stand up for what is right. It is to sell our city, and it is to be a good example of a leader for all our citizens.
Ms. Hunt?
The role of mayor to me is a lot of different things. A lot of the things that Marcia said were right on, but the big thing that I see is that the mayor is like the chairman of the board. They are the person that actually brings together a group of very independent, sometimes forward-thinking, sometimes not, individuals who sometimes are not all on the same page. And we need to, as mayor, be able to bring them together so that there is a solution and a outcome that is good for the city. Yes, there is the public face of the mayor, being confident and being positive, talking with citizens even if it is a negative, making sure that you listen. And listening is probably the biggest thing, returning those phone calls when someone has left you a message. Someone sends you an email and kind of leaves an open-ended question. You need to make sure that you close that loop. You are not going to please everybody. The council's not going to please everybody, but we need to make sure that each of the citizens feel like they have a voice.
Ms. Hunt, this next question, you'll start. Anybody who's visited the Chamber of Commerce knows this well. Old Town Coppell is currently undergoing a huge transformation. What role do you see the Old Town Historic District serving for the future of Coppell?
I didn't know there was anything going on down there. No, there is a lot going on down there, and this is a vision that has been around for a long time, and I know that Marcia was a part of the initial part of that. It is another gathering place, and hopefully a gathering place that will include residents, businesses, restaurants, a new home for the farmers market, and that it will actually be a place that will be exciting, be a walkable place, have more activity for those businesses that are down there today. There's some great businesses down there today, and if you haven't been down there, take the hike and take the excursion to go around all of the construction and visit some of those businesses, because they are wonderful. And I'm guessing that the market permits that the Old Town area will be a great jewel for us, not only for us to use, but hopefully a destination for other people outside of Coppell.
Ms. Tennell?
Like she said, I absolutely do know what's going down there, because we've been talking about this for almost a decade, and it's finally reality. We just passed a new comprehensive land use plan, and we were talking about some different uses where you do have live, work, play neighborhoods, where you have businesses that you can walk to, where you have residential. And I think this is sort of our test case, because we'd like to do this in some other areas of town, and that people can live there, that there are restaurants they can walk to, that there are shops they can shop, that they can walk their dogs down there, see their friends at the farmer's market. I'm very excited about the opportunities, and I so want it to be a success, and I think it will be. The Heart 8 is already a magnet, not only for this community, but especially for people who come to our town. And I think this can build on that and provide other businesses and other services and other restaurants that will come to our town, spend their money, and help us that way. But also it is definitely a gathering place, and I hope to spend a lot of time down there. My husband is already looking at the townhomes, so I may be spending a lot of time down there.
Ms. Tennell, you'll be able to start this next question. For over 20 years, the Chamber has continued to work to ensure the economic vitality of the community. How do you view the role of the Coppell Chamber of Commerce within the community as it relates to economic development?
And the Chamber has played different roles over the years with the city. First, there was a partnership with economic development, which later became a city board. I think that with the Chamber, they are a partner. They're a partner with the staff. They're a partner with the council. They help us. They're our ears and our eyes on the street. They help bring us information from businesses about what they want and what they need. they're also a welcoming committee. We're hoping that in the future we can have even more of a one-stop shop for city services when they come to do business here, whether it's permitting, whether it's going through the planning and zoning and approval process, and we want the chamber to be more involved in that. I think you bring a lot of expertise to that. Is that why you asked the question?
Maybe a little.
But I do think that we're moving in the right direction as far as working together, and I look forward to even building stronger relationships.
Ms. Hunt?
I think that the chamber role is an ever-changing one. And in today's day and time, we're setting the stage for the chamber to become more active. When I first was here 15 years ago, I was involved, I was the chamber liaison to the Economic Development Committee. And that partnership still is there today. That committee has chamber representation, and it's always had chamber representation. And it's important that the business community be a part of everything that goes on in the city, because the business provide almost 50% of the revenue that the city operates on. And as that hopefully starts shifting more toward the commercial and less toward the residents, the business piece is going to become more and more important. We want to retain, the chamber can help us retain. We want to attract, the chamber can help us attract. It's a partnership with the city and with the city officials and the chamber. Thank you.
Ms. Hunt, this next question is for you. Currently, there are no hotels or convention spaces within the city limits of Coppell. With our proximity to DFW Airport, major highways, and multiple commercial employers on the west side of town, do you feel Coppell should actively pursue a hotel or convention center to build inside our city limits?
Well, Marcia and I will probably have the same answer to this one because we've been talking about this one. It has been a desire for a long time for the city to have a hotel and a convention area. Market conditions just flat didn't allow it. The idea of us having a full convention center and a full service hotel, that's got to be market driven. And in today's day and times, it is tough. We can sit and wait for that, but chances, we could be waiting a long time. We do need meeting space. There is not a place here in town where 150 people can come together unless it's an open space, which is not always a terrible thing, but if you'd planned something a couple of weeks ago on a Tuesday, it would have been hailed out. So what we're talking about is, and what we're hoping for is to examine a lot of different opportunities, and it could take lots of different shapes. We could talk about a limited service hotel, and then talk about meeting space, and maybe the city helping with that meeting space if we want meeting space. But we can't force the market, so we may have to step up and make something happen.
Ms. Tennell?
We have had multiple inquiries from interested parties about bringing a hotel here. Like Karen said, the economy has not been our friend the past 3 or 4 years, and a lot of those have kind of fizzled or gone away or couldn't get financing. And so we continue to look. There are different levels. You talked about limited service. There are different levels of hotels. There are full service and limited service and extended stay. And I do think we have a certain standard that we don't want to drop below as far as trying to get a hotel here. But we do need meeting space, and I do think it may come down to being a public-private partnership, and where the city funds the meeting space, because the hotels are just about the space that they can sell and use, and they don't see as much need for the meeting space as we do as a community. So that's a possibility. We continue to hear offers and have people come forward that are interested, and we continue to explore those. We have some deadlines, some clocks that are ticking on some property here in Coppell that we're supposed to have a hotel on, so we'll see what happens in the next few years or the next year or so.
I'd like to take this moment to remind the audience that we passed out some index cards earlier. If you do have a question and we have time, please hold those up so a chamber staff member can bring those up to me. The next question we'll start with you, Ms. Tennell. Over the past few years, the Coppell Chamber of Commerce has conducted an annual biz walk within the city limits of Coppell. One of the consistent concerns of business owners is our current sign ordinance. What are your thoughts on the sign ordinance, and how would you balance the concerns from the residents and the needs of the businesses?
It's my understanding that we have a new sign ordinance coming forward. It's one that has been worked on by members from the city, from the chamber, from local businesses. And I look forward to seeing what that is, because I've understood that there was a lot of give and take and a lot of cooperation on that effort. We have not seen that sign ordinance yet. It hasn't come to council. So I do want to see what that is. I do like the way that Coppell looks. A lot of people talk about Coppell looks and feels different when they come to town. They like the quality development. They feel like it's a quality town, and I believe that quality begets quality, and I don't want to see our standards slip too much, because I believe that in the future it may not be in the long-term best interest of the city. I know businesses need signs, and we have looked at different ones and different kinds of signs, but it's not the only thing that makes a business a success. I mean, a business is a success because we support it, because of the traffic they have, because of the products they offer, the services, and we need to help them, their businesses be successful. But like I said, there is a new sign ordinance. I think it is more business friendly, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Ms. Hunt?
I guess 2 years ago, 2 biz walks ago, I was one of those chamber members that walked. Sitting on the city council, I was very interested to hear what the city businesses were saying. And it was over and over again. We need help with signs, we need help with signs. Now, there wasn't a specific need. There were 1 or 2 that had very specific requirements that they wanted it to happen. But in order for us to serve the entire community, that we didn't want to go down that road. So a couple of us, chamber members, met, and we talked through some different things on how to approach the city. Once we got that package together, I stepped back as a city council member and said, you guys go talk with the city and see if there is a path. And from that, it was the committee that was pulled together that include residents, businesses, and staff. And like Marcia, I'm very interested in hearing what is coming. It's hopefully a balance. We do not want to give away the farm, because we do like the way Coppell looks. We like it when people go, oh, this is just a really nice, clean city. Ask Tony when this is all over, and that was one of his very first comments about this city.
Ms. Hunt, you'll start this next question. The North Lake Cypress Water addition will impact our community. One area of concern is our local roads and business development. What are your plans to help develop the business environment on the south end of town while maintaining the quality of life Coppell residents expect? You want me to repeat it?
Yes, please.
Okay. The North Lake Cypress Waters addition will impact our community. One area of concern is our local roads and business development. What are your plans to help develop the business environment on the south end of town while maintaining the quality of life Coppell residents expect?
The one thing that our city staff has done, and as a business who lived through the redoing or the reconstruction of Sandy Lake and MacArthur, is they take the time, effort, and patience to develop a system so that as things are developed and as things are fixed on the roads, it does not inhibit traffic. Well, it's going to inhibit traffic. It inhibits traffic to the least amount possible. We handed out stress balls to our customers because we assumed it was going to be a terrible thing. It wasn't so bad. Our city staff goes out of their way to make sure that they think ahead. Our roads are going to be pounded in that area. There's going to be roads that are closed, but I think we will see that there is some help as long as Dallas helps us, because that's Dallas development. If they don't let us know what's happening and we don't have open dialogue with both the developer and the city of Dallas, we might get caught. But I think our city staff is going out of their way to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Ms. Tennell, you want me to repeat the question again? Okay.
The North Lake Cypress Waters development is kind of a strange animal. It is in the school district, it is in the city of Dallas, it is not in Coppell, but it will most definitely impact the city of Coppell. I think most of the roads that will be developed will be internal to the development, and so I don't know how much traffic problems there are going to be, because it's my understanding a lot of it will be routed out to the service roads. That said, Hackberry, which is already a failing road or a bumpy road, will definitely have to be improved. And but I agree with Karen that Dallas has got to step up to the plate on this, because we are serving their citizens, and there are many other city services that we're negotiating. I think Dallas is going to. At first, they were trying to ask us to provide a lot of the services, and I think they're finally realizing that they're going to need to do it. But the school district will get tax money from this development. The city will not. So the city needs to take a different tact with how we pay for things, and work very closely with Dallas, or as closely as they'll let us, to try to come to agreements about how we're going to fund improvements. I think the biggest impact on a road will be Beltline to Denton Tap. Okay, stop.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Tennell, this question is for you. Earlier this month, our community was struck with severe weather. What are your overall thoughts on the city response?
I think our city does a really good job. I mean, we have a very reputable public safety department. Fire and police were both out in the community. The storm came up pretty fast, and I don't know how much you can do when Mother Nature just decides to unleash her fury like she did that day. There are many ways that you can communicate with citizens, and you're never going to reach everybody. You can make phone calls or robocalls. You can put it on social media. You can put it on your website. Of course, we're in a major media market, so we've got that rolling, not Larry Mowry rolling nonstop, telling us, there were 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever, coming to your community. But I think that our community handles these things well. I did hear the sirens go off, so I do know that that means get inside. It's not necessarily a tornado warning, but it is to take cover. And I did hear those go off. I know there's some questions about did we notify in every way we can, and I know the city is looking at that and how we can do that better in the future. But all in all, it was fast and furious, and I'm not sure how much more could be done, but we're definitely looking at ways to improve our response.
Ms. Hunt?
It was a fast and furious storm that came through. And I did hear the sirens, and I hope everyone that was in the city also heard the sirens. The schools did their job, and the city did their job, and the sirens are supposed to mean go inside and get in front of whatever medium you can and find out what the heck is going on. In today's day and time, people are expecting things differently. So immediately afterwards, we had conversations about, well, should we have used the robocalls? Should we have done social media? Should we have done this? The question is, okay, so where do you stop? Do you set sirens? That means go inside and find out what's going on. And then do you also need a text? Do you need a phone call? And we can do all those things, and those are the things that maybe people are expecting. Those of us in my age group know what those sirens mean. People in other age groups may not. Hopefully they do. But so that's why we're taking that extra look, and the city staff is taking a good look at all of our communications, and hopefully we will have a result here soon.
Ms. Hunt, this next question is for you. What issue is not getting enough attention in Coppell right now? What could be your role in helping to bring more attention to it?
I think primarily the thing that comes to my mind immediately is that people do not realize, they look at this beautiful city and they see that everything is well taken care of, but we are aging. Some of our roads are, over 20 years old, and they're going to need assistance. They're going to need rework. It's not the sexy stuff. It's not the things. It's not the brand new building. It's not that. So there are places that are going to have to be rebuilt from sidewalk to sidewalk, and everything underneath it. It's not the really fun things that people get all excited about, but it's the things that will maintain the values of our home going forward.
Ms. Tennell?
I will ditto what she said as far as infrastructure, because Coppell is such a new town, relatively new town. Everything got built at once, which means everything's going to kind of come due at once. And we're trying to be proactive about that with an infrastructure maintenance fund that we put money aside every year to take care of those things. But some of them are big ticket items. The other thing that is kind of an aside and not a numbers thing is health and wellness in this community. And we've started exploring with a program to work with the schools in the city and the restaurants and the grocery stores and the fitness facilities to try to see what we can do to improve our children's health. Todd Whitthorne with the Cooper Clinic is kind of spearheading this. And I think that's pretty critical for our community, because children who are in good health learn better, they make better grades, and they succeed. And so I want to see that continue, and I'm looking forward to how we can get all the strengths that we have in the different facets of our community to come together and work to make sure that we have a healthier community for our kids and for our adults and for our seniors, but y'all are adults too.
And now we're going to take some questions from the audience, from the cards that they filled out. We will keep going back and forth between the candidates, and you will still have 90 seconds to respond to the questions. Ms. Tennell, you'll start this one. What is your vision to make the city greener, more walker, biker friendly, better stewards of the environment, recycling, prudent use of natural resources such as water, more healthy?
90 seconds?
Yes, ma'am.
The city is already doing a lot. I don't know if you know this, but the city was the first in Dallas County to offer curbside recycling. Now we have an at your door program where if you have hazardous waste in your house, where it's paint or batteries or electronics, that you can call and have them come to your door and pick them up. We have gone to Xeriscape in our medians and at our facilities that require less water to use. So I think we're saving resources that way. We're looking at ways to make our buildings greener, whether it's LED lights or different kinds of air conditioning and thermostats and things like that. So I think we have a green team on staff that is kind of a cross-departmental group that is always looking at ways that we can make the city itself greener. And I think events like Earth Day this weekend, recycling in the schools, different things that we do like that in the community are ways that we can spread the word. I think there are always new things we're learning about how we can do better and more things we can do, but I think we're moving in the right direction and doing a good job.
Ms. Hunt?
The council and the mayor, as far as the direction for the staff, have said, let's be as green as we can be. And staff has stepped up and done all of these great things that Marcia just described. There are other things that are on lists. Park and Rec Group have a list pages long of things that they would love to do, and those things all cost money. We would love to be able to complete our trail system. Again, that costs money. We would love to be, we did in our comprehensive land plan we have a great system set up. All we need is the money. So the plan is out there, and the question is, how do we pay for it? Do the citizens want a bond election for bike trails, those types of things? Day to day, our staff works to help the city become greener and more sustainable. That's a word that is used on a regular basis. To get the people out and to be on bike trails and walking more, those types of things. Doing a downtown or a Main Street development like we're doing in Old Town, that hopefully will help in that kind of a situation too.
It's time.
Stop.
Ms. Hunt, what is the greatest threat to maintaining Coppell's high quality of living standards, and what, as mayor, will you do to eliminate this threat?
I believe the biggest threat is not alleviating a perception that appears to be out there. It appears that the development community thinks that Coppell is difficult, period, end of story. I'd rather develop someplace else than develop in Coppell. That is not true with all developers because we have development. So one of the things that I would do is to work with the council, work with Clay to talk about setting up systems and teams that we can work with developers so that we can give a more welcoming. We don't want to open our community to anything and everything. We want high quality development, but we have to let people know that we are welcome, that they are welcome. The land use plan and the 2030 plan were our first two steps. We've got to let people know that those are out there and that this is the kind of development that we are open for. So being active in that role, pulling the chamber in, pulling developers in, that's what I would do.
Ms. Tennell? Okay. What is the greatest threat to maintaining Coppell's high quality of living standards, and what, as mayor, will you do to eliminate this threat?
Karen mentioned our new land use plan, and I think a lot of the misconceptions about the difficulty of working in Coppell is based on old information. I think staff has become more amenable to different uses and has in fact tried to bring things through. But the problem is that they're not always welcomed by the neighbors. And so council sometimes finds themselves in a difficult situation of trying to weigh neighborhood interests versus new business interests. And that is a fine line, it is a balancing act. I think everybody says in theory they want quality development, and I think that maintains everybody's property standards, businesses, adjacent neighborhoods. And so I don't want to, as land becomes more scarce in the city, that we start easing up too much on what we want here. I think there's going to be a lot of redevelopment in this community because we have empty spaces that are not developed, not being leased, not being used. And so are they the best use, or do we need to look at something else? Stop.
Thank you for recognizing the timer. Ms. Tennell, you'll have this one. If North Lake Cypress Waters will have a tram, a DART stop, do you support that idea, and how will it affect the residents of Coppell?
The only way that Coppell will have a DART stop is if it is on that property, because it is in the city of Dallas, and Coppell is not in the city of Dallas. That said, I catch the train in Carrollton over in off 35 and Beltline, and I love to ride it down to go to the downtown or to games or to a restaurant, and we've used it to go to the movies, and we've used it for that. If there is a train stop on the North Lake property, the positive thing about that, I believe, is that it will force the train to swing south away from residents. And so I think fewer residents will be impacted if indeed they can make that, because they will start swinging it south once they get past MacArthur. And that's where the residential really starts. It's backing up to that train. So for that reason, I think there's a benefit to that. Also, the city has property that is around this transit-oriented development, and I believe that development there could help us offset the costs that we incurred when we purchased the land to try to minimize the impact of the North Lake development.
I believe that it is not if DART comes through, it's when DART comes through. There is a group that is intent on making sure that that line between really Rockwall all the way to southwest Fort Worth is developed. And Tarrant County is already well on their way. Dallas County also has to work with Collin County, so there's a little bit more when you get in with DART. Because of the North Lake situation, I think this is one of the good things that has come out of it, is that we do have some land in North Lake that gives us a seat at the table. I am hoping as well that if there is a stop, because that's an if there's a stop, it would help the citizens of Coppell because it would swing the line south. The city could either lease the land, they could use that to be part of DART going forward. That right now, they're calling it the Innovative Financing Initiative, which is, if you look at the acronym, it's iffy. So now they say no, it's IFI. It is a key element in the plan for the Dallas Regional Mobility.
That's time. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
That's okay.
Sorry.
This will be the last question. We're trying to keep it under an hour. I apologize to the audience that we didn't get to all the questions, but just so you know, the candidates did say that they would be willing to stay afterwards and answer any questions that you may have. So this will be the last question from up here. Ms. Hunt, how will you reduce the tax burden on the residents?
Again, it all comes down to development. Today, as I mentioned before, between sales tax and property tax, our commercial side covers about 50% of the revenue of the city that is tax base. In order to reduce that burden on the residents, we need to continue to develop the commercial side with quality developments that will produce sales tax and that will produce sales tax value for increasing costs, because as in your household, the city's tax or the city's expenses are increasing. Along with that, however, it is very critical that we are mindful of our spending. We need to make sure that we are using the taxpayers' money wisely. We need to be spending it on things that are critical to us. Health, safety, security, those kinds of things are critical and should be the primary businesses of the city. We need to have a sunset committee. We had just got one at the chamber, and it's pretty cool to be on, because we're actually looking what works, what doesn't work, and what's next. That's what we need to do with every piece of what we do in the city.
That's time again. I'm sorry. Ms. Tennell? Yes.
When I moved here many years ago, the tax burden on the residents was more like 85 or 90%. Business, there was no business. There was a tiny grocery store and a Dairy Queen, and I think one gas station. So as the city has developed, obviously the commercial has grown. And as Karen said, it's more like 50-50 now if you include sales tax. One of the reasons, we're running out of land, so it's gonna mean redevelopment, and I think that is in our future, and I think that we will look at what is the highest and best use to bring the most sales tax or the most property tax to the city. One of our problems in changing that ratio is that the homes that they're building right now in Coppell are really, really nice homes with really, really high values. So it's harder to make that ratio move when you've got that kind of dollar homes coming into the community. We haven't had a tax increase except for North Lake, that's my disclaimer, since in about 20 years. So we have used, and that is because of greater valuations, and we have used the funds wisely, I think, in the city. And the way that we have it budgeted, we have 5-year plans, is that there will not be another tax increase for several years to come, unless there's some catastrophic or something that comes up. That's all I can, okay, done.
Once again, I want to thank the candidates for coming out. I want to thank you, the audience, for coming out and participating. Thank the city for letting us use this. Thank Sebastian in the back for filming this. This will be available on the chamber website, so please let people know. We do have another candidates forum. It's for the city council coming up. It's going to be a week from today, right back here. So please come back and enjoy that. I also want to thank CISD for letting us borrow their filming equipment. So we appreciate that. Again, the candidates have said that they would be willing to stick around and answer some questions, so please feel free to do that. Closing remarks, and Ms. Tennell, you get to start. No, please, I'm sorry.
Thank you. In closing, I'd like to ask you a question. Why did you move to Coppell? For many of us, we know it's the schools. They are the #1 reason for most, and they are second to none. But what else? What else in this community? Is it the small town feel? Is it the parks? Is it the library? Is it the fact that we have these fun special events that bring communities together like National Night Out? Because it looks and feels different. Those are all reasons people move here or say that they moved here. For 27 years, I've worked to help create the Coppell that is today. I thought some of my supporters would be wearing Marsha shirts, but it looks like the most they could get was their buttons. We've had a lot of fun with the Brady Bunch and the Marsha, so they went on buttons and t-shirts, luckily not my signs. But when you see the phrase, I want you to think about this. Marsha for experience. We're going to have 3 new council members up here, 3 new council members who haven't been through the budget process, haven't been through North Lake, and are going to be on a steep learning curve. I think it's critical that the mayor has as much experience as possible, and I bring that to this position. Marsha for vision. It's easy to say that you have vision. It's much harder to make it a reality. It doesn't just go poof in the air. I think Old Town is an example of that. It takes diligence, perseverance, focus, sometimes going against the popular vote, but just keeping that vision in mind. And finally, Marsha for no conflicts. I don't have a conflict in running. I don't have any business reasons for running. I'm running because I love Coppell and I love to serve. So Marsha, experience, vision, no conflicts, and I ask for your vote today for coming this week, early voting, and on Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tennell. Ms. Hunt?
Again, thank you each and every one for being here this evening. I ran because I believe in the system. I believe that the United States allows us to elect our officials, and they allow us to choose someone based on their experience. The mayor is the budget director of the, according to state law, they are responsible for the budget. Everybody knows that the staff is great here, but we also need to make sure that the city council, the board of directors of the city understand and are able to handle the questions and give input to the budget. I do have broad-based experience in leading. I've been on the council for 4 years. I've been through the budget process. I got in at the tail end of North Lake, and honestly, I'm kind of glad I did. I heard about it the whole time, but I was very glad that I was not in on those long meetings. But my experience is bringing people together, Rotary, Chamber, schools, bringing people together to get things done. I have a positive attitude. I am open to talk with people, and I'm looking forward to being your next mayor, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. One more announcement that Ms. Tennell reminded me of, and Ms. Hunt reminded me of earlier, is that there is a special election. So when you come for your voting, you have to go to 2 separate voting booths because of the special election. So don't forget that this year when you go to vote. So it's for place 3. So there are 2 places: the special election and then the regular election. So make sure that you do that as well. This time, I would like to go ahead and adjourn. I appreciate it. I'm sorry about that, and we're gonna go ahead and adjourn. So thank you for coming out.